Hi, I'm Darren Mullen, founder of Smart Workflow Guru, and I'm joined today by Alex Standiford. And Alex has created a WordPress plugin called Siren Affiliate. And I have him on because I'm using Siren Affiliates at Smart Workflow Guru, specifically for tracking uh, co-creator revenue shares with my courses that I have, as well as affiliate sales. So people that promote my services and products on smartworkflowguru.com, uh, they will earn commissions. And I'm using Siren affiliates to do that. So Alex, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So thanks, Darren. So my name is Alex Standiford. I have been working in the WordPress space specifically for the last 10 to 12 years at this point. I built hundreds and hundreds of plugins over those years as a freelancer and other things for clients. And I got into incentive programs and affiliate marketing because I did a lot of blogging and stuff with WordPress, right? Just as a result of being a user and being a developer for it. And I just wasn't really happy with the limitations of what existing affiliate solutions were out there. And funny enough, I actually worked for one of the companies that actually built one of the other products. It was for Affiliate WP. So I worked for them before they got acquired by a different company and all that stuff. And I worked there for a while. And even as a developer who had worked on that product specifically, I was still finding myself to be frustrated by the fact that I couldn't do things that seemed obvious to me, like paying two affiliates for a single sale, right? Like a split commission or something like that. And I realized when I started to think about it that there was just so many different ways to incentivize people, that all these other solutions that are on the market, even today, are all just doing the same thing. They are they look at affiliate programs and they say that is it. That is the only way that people ever work together whenever they're on
Mm-hmm.
the internet. And it just drove me crazy. And I started having some conversations with other leaders in the WordPress space, other platform people, such as Chris Badgett with Lifter LMS, and a few other people. And I just was kind of having conversations with them about, incentive programs, and the ideas just came flooding to me. And I just realized there is a better way to do this. So I took my experience and my background from working on building these kinds of solutions in the past, combined it with my experience with WordPress, and then just started from the ground up creating a solution that allows people to be able to create any kind of incentive program they want. So if they want to make affiliate programs, like you were saying, a course creator revenue share, um, if they wanted to create royalty programs where artists get paid a commission for having stuff sold on their site, there's just so many different ways to be able to use Siren, and I'm sure we'll get into some of those things as we're talking. But that's kind of my background. So that's kind of how I've gotten here. I've just become obsessed with the topic of different creative and fun ways to be able to incentivize people to be able to work together in a way that is scalable.
Yep, that's great. And you mentioned Lifter LMS. That's actually the LMS I'm using on my site. In fact, I think that's how I heard about Siren
Probably.
is through Lifter.
Yep.
Um, and
Turns
what I
out
really liked, yeah,
a system that uses partnerships is
yeah,
or system built on partnerships is using partnerships. Who knew, right?
yep, yep. Which in fact, that is in fact, this is general kind of business advice, I guess. Um, when I first started my business, doing consulting work for Smartsheet and AppSheet and some other platforms, um, you know, I didn't really talk to other firms, other consultants. I had my mindset at first was, oh, they're competitors, they're not going to want to talk to me. Um, but then when I started reaching out to them and talking with them, they were very happy to collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
and my business really started to take off from there with those collaborations.
And
Oh,
it's funny you say that, because I actually refer to that as the three C's. So whenever I go to a
hmm,
conference or something like that, I'm always looking for the three C's. I'm looking for customers, collaborators, and competitors.
yep,
And
yep,
uh, sometimes one will look like another one, for sure. It's super common.
yep, yep. And what I really liked about Siren, because I evaluated other affiliate plugins and services too. But I really like the flexibility of Siren. Um, and um, I may have reached out to you with some questions first, and you're very responsive. I really, really, and that's something I really want to say about Siren and Alex, and very good support. He really stands behind his product. If there's any little issues that pop up, he's on it. um, and he's more than happy to spend that time to look into anything and let you know, is it something that you configured improperly, or is there something else going on? And
Yep.
one thing I really like about Siren is that was key for me in choosing an affiliate tracking service, was using promotion codes. Because as someone who does market other services on commission as affiliate, uh, that's something I look for when choosing a program, because I do a lot of promotions on YouTube or in other media that is not necessarily easy for someone to click a link to track it.
Yeah.
But
And that's
having the
becoming
pro,
more and more common too with
yeah,
AI and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like having
yeah,
those coupon codes is solid.
yep. But having those promotion codes is really important, because then someone watches my video, I have this promotion code. They don't need to click a link. They just use my code, and I get credit for that sale.
Yep.
So I wanted to have that for my affiliates too, because uh, you know, the old affiliate marketing way of writing these blog posts or putting on sites with maybe mirroring products of the catalog and clicking links, that doesn't really, that's kind of gone out or dying.
Yeah.
So,
Very much so.
so yep, yep. So using those promotion codes is really important. And that's really important for anyone that has a podcast, right? If someone's listening to audio, there's no way they're going to click a link.
Yep.
But but if you have this promotion code you can give out on the air, that really helps with conversions too, and crediting the person that's doing the advertising.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Alex, I'd like to ask you, do you mind doing a screen share and sharing a little demo of Siren?
Sure, we can do a quick demo
Yeah.
here. Okay, so this is if you go to demo.sirenaffiliates.com, you can always look at this and tinker with it yourself. So this is a front end demo of Siren itself. So it's not the whole platform with everything, and of course it looks pretty different than what you would expect it to look like in WordPress, and that's because this demo is actually um, an example of what Siren looks like in a future version of it, where I'm actually building this out as a SaaS platform as well as a WordPress plugin. So it looks a little bit different. It looks quite a bit different, in fact. But whenever you're in WordPress, it's the same exact interface. It's just reskinned to look like it belongs in WordPress. So if we go to go back to, here we go. So this is the demo. So the way Siren works is it has multiple different programs, right? So you can create as many programs as you want. And if you've ever worked with other affiliate programs or platforms, basically they're designed where they do what I call an inheritance. They use inheritance, right? So in other words, what that means is like they'll say a they'll have one monolithic affiliate program that is the be all end all program for everything there is to be said about this entire brand. And you can overwrite the settings of that program at different levels. So a product can have a different affiliate rate than every other product, and you specify that affiliate rate on that product. The same thing could be said about affiliates, right? So you could say this affiliate gets a special affiliate rate of 10%, right? Um, and you can kind of see how, and that becomes a big problem because what happens is then you end up with this conflicting and black box, hard to understand set of rules that can't be shown right in front of you. It's not
Mm,
obvious what's happening, right? So what inevitably would happen will happen is you'll have a customer visit the site, they'll buy a product that has a special affiliate rate, right? From an affiliate who also has a different special affiliate rate. And the question becomes, which one of those rates is the correct rate? And most affiliate solutions in WordPress right now, they just pick one based on their code logic. And you just have to monitor that and make sure that it's set up in a way that it works reliably. So it just becomes a garbled mess that's really hard to maintain. So I realized that 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 was one of the biggest initial things that drove me away. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to use a different approach. And instead of inheritance, I'm going to use something called composition. And basically what that means is we're going to compose a bunch of different programs and we're going to put all the information related to that program on the program itself, right? So all of the settings and everything, including the rate and all that goes there, and nothing else ever overwrites the program settings. And because you can have multiple programs, you can add your affiliates, or what do we call them, collaborators, to those different programs. Um, it applies that rate to that collaborator because they're on that program. So like, and because of that, you can, and with that, you're able to create multiple programs, which means that multiple commissions can be sent out at the same time. It just creates a whole lot of other things that
Mm-hmm.
just makes it really powerful. So
Yep.
if we
Yep.
look here, you can see I've got programs. Now, if I click on, let's start with the standard affiliate program, right? So you click on this and you can see right here, it shows you exactly what's going to happen when somebody visits with a referral link or they use a coupon code and they complete a conversion. In other words, they made a sale, right? They bought something. Credit is going to go to the last collaborator who referred them. So, in other words, the last collaborator who gave them a referral link or whose coupon code was used. And the commission is going to be calculated based on the entire transaction, including discounts. So, if there's a discount applied to it, it will subtract that amount from it. And the collaborator will get 10% of the sale. So, this describes right here for you, crystal clear, no question about it, exactly what is going to
Mm-hmm.
happen with this program,
Yep.
right? And then down here, you can see all the different conversions that have happened, the engagements, all the other related information, which collaborators are actually on this project, on this program, rather. Um, and then you can also click on this activity feed, which what it'll show is a feed of everything that has happened with the history of that specific program. Actually, I think this is a new feature since we've spoken, Darren. I added
Yep.
this very recent. So, what's really great about this is it allows you to find and see exactly what happened. So if you see something or a commission or something like that that came through and you're like, what is that? How did that happen? You can go here and you can look at the history and kind of piece together what happened and it'll give you that context.
Yep.
And this activity feed concept is actually something that is spread out across the entire interface. A big piece of Siren is all about visibility and clarity. So like if you go to collaborators, for example, and we clicked on Amy Garcia, and we click on activity, this is going to show you everything Amy Garcia's activity feed specifically. Some of the things that you'll see here were also on that program screen because some of it is related to that program, right? So this is it's not just notes that are being plopped into a single place. It is a network of events that have happened that are being traced, tracked, and available for auditing purposes or anything like that. It's super powerful and super helpful whenever you're trying to troubleshoot or just audit something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This is a big thing for fraud prevention and things like that, which is a big challenge for bigger affiliate programs. So obviously, like I said, I've got multiple programs here. The standard affiliate program, this is exactly what it does. We can go into it and we can edit it, and you can edit all of the settings on this. And as you're editing it, you can actually see on the right side that workflow shows you exactly what's happening. If I uncheck this, you'll see when someone uses a coupon code is the only option. So these are what break down the components that make the actual program. So what you do is you go in here, you add the information here, including your engagement tracking events, which determine, what things happen before that lead up to the sale, right? Somebody visited the site, somebody read a blog post that you wrote, a collaborator's product was sold, right? So a product that was associated with a collaborator was sold or something like that. Manual attribution, so if you need to manually create things, collaborators forms submitted, all this. So I'm not going to get too deep into the woods of this because
Yeah. Yeah.
I could probably talk about just
Oh
this
yeah.
one screen for an hour. But here's
Yep.
the thing. The big thing about how Siren approaches programs is that it has taken it takes programs and it breaks them into pieces, right? So it says what happens before what does the collaborator have to do to earn the reward? How do we determine which collaborator wins the program? How what of the transaction is included in the commission, and how do we calculate the amount of money for the reward, right? So
Yep.
those four things are basically what's in this. And Siren's entire system is built around allowing you to select and choose which of those pieces make up your different programs.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and a lot of feedback that I've gotten from customers over the years has been this is a little daunting, right? Almost every
Mm.
time I have a one-on-one call with any of my customers, it consists of helping them build this screen. So what I did was we actually created this concept called recipes on Siren's website. This is Siren's website. So you can go here and you can look at all these different recipes that are on here, and you can click on any of these that you want, read about it, learn about it, and then you can click use this recipe, add some details to it, click continue, and then you can install it directly on your site here. If you happen to have it installed in WordPress, you specify the URL. It'll go to your site if you're logged in and then ask you if you want to import this exact recipe, right?
Yeah.
Or you can also download and copy this JSON file and then paste it directly in, and it'll just create that recipe for you.
Yep.
So that's how we're able to kind of make it a little bit easier to create concrete programs, right? So between recipes and the powerful capabilities of the programs, you can see kind of there's just a lot going on there. Um, there's other features that are really good too, as well as like the program groups, which allows you to group programs together to make sure that only one of them wins. So that allows you to kind of extend your logic in a way to say, maybe I have a standard affiliate program at 5% and a super affiliate program at 10%. And only certain people are on that super affiliate program. And I want to make sure that only one of those two programs is being used. I want to kind of treat them as one, right? You put them in a program group and you can specify which one of those wins, right? So it'll say exactly the same thing. It has a flow chart rate based on that. Um, so and then the other piece of this puzzle for Siren for incentives is what I call distributors. Now this is essentials only, which is so Siren has a free tier and then there's a paid tier. Um, the distributors, what they allow you to do is kind of flip that. So instead of figuring out everything that leads up to a sale or up to whatever you're trying to, measure, um, this side allows you to measure performance over the course of a period of time and pay out based on that. So you can think of YouTube uses distributions instead of affiliates, right? What it does is it pays you based on your share of the ad revenue that YouTube gained based on your traffic. Udemy, a course creation platform, right? It does the same thing. It pays 25% of its total membership revenue and it distributes it to all of the course creators on its site based on how much traffic they
Mm.
drove to the site relative to everybody else, right? So it figures out how big of a share you get based on that.
Yep.
Distributors let you do that. They also let you do bonuses, so you could like create a program, create a distribution for like I think of car dealerships where you can say, um, you know, hey, my dad's a car salesman, so that's why this comes to mind. He tells me the way that their incentive program works is they get 10% of the sale for each car they sell. But if they sell 10 cars in a month, the commission value for all of their sales that month retroactively goes up to 15%, right?
Okay.
You could build that in Siren. So distributors, they look very similar to programs. It's the same idea. There's a workflow, explains how it works. You can edit it, and there's pieces that make it up, right? Um, the rest of this is just kind of managing the individual people. So managing individual collaborators, managing and viewing the transactions that have actually come through your system, as well as conversions, which are conceptually separate from transactions because some programs don't necessarily reward based on e-commerce, right? You could create a program where maybe the conversion is you're at a brick and mortar store and you want to pay a bonus to the sales clerk, your sales team, your sales clerks at the store to the one person who sells the most, um, or gets the most emails, right? Gets the most people to sign up their email address
Mm-hmm.
at the checkout, right? That is a conversion. It's not a sale, but
Yeah.
it's a conversion.
Yep.
And then engagements are another piece of the puzzle for tracking. So all of that obviously is there and
Yep.
it's very robust. Um, I've just thrown so much at you, and I feel like I need to take a
Oh,
breath.
yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
any questions so far?
No, yeah, I mean, and this makes perfect sense to me because I've been using Siren now for a little bit, and
Right.
um, you've explained. I've asked a lot of these questions by email and messaging there, and you've explained a lot of this very well. Uh, as you're going through this, I'm thinking of maybe some new use cases I could use some of these for as I have this little refresher. And I
Yeah.
want to just tell everyone how I'm using Siren, um, and not strictly for affiliate tracking, although I am doing that. And I should probably make that distinction better, like you do. You call people in your program members of your program. You don't call them affiliates necessarily. You call them collaborators.
Hmm.
Um, and that works very well for me because I just released a course with a co-creator. And so I have a program in that says every time a course is sold, she gets a certain percentage, and then I get a certain percentage.
Yep.
And on top of that, uh, she's also an affiliate. So if she brings in business for my other services, she'll get a commission as an affiliate. Or even the course we co-created, I give her a bonus commission because she brought in the sale. Um, and in fact, one transaction can have multiple conversions if it triggers multiple programs.
Yep.
So if you have a course co-creator and who gets a revenue share, but also brings in that sale from her audience, there's two conversions there for one transaction because there's
Yep.
two different programs that met the criteria. So that is very powerful. And I was
Yeah. So
thinking
so in
about,
that
yeah,
context, right? So just to make sure, it's
yep,
just so in that context, you're saying she gets a revenue share because
mm-hmm,
so she gets 5% or 10% or whatever of all
yep,
sales. And then if she is actually the one who drove the conversion with her
mm-hmm,
affiliate link, right? She gets another percentage on top of that. And that is
correct,
expressed as two separate programs in Siren.
correct,
And she
correct,
just happens to be a member of both of them.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Now the total doesn't add up more than 100% or anything, but
Right.
which you can control for that, right? And some of those program groups could help with that,
Yep.
depending on how that's set up.
Yep.
Um, but also I run a membership program on my site, and right now I'm the only one who's really running that membership program. But if I were to bring in additional instructors, um, that's where the distributions could come into play.
Yep.
Or if you have if I have a course site with 20 different courses on it, and it just charges a flat membership. Well, how do you reward the different instructors, right? There's different programs, and the distributors could come into play there. If not the sole way of rewarding the instructors, maybe it's a bonus for whoever has the most course views in the month could get an additional percentage. There, you could anything you could dream up, you could uh, implement in Siren. Um,
Yeah.
and
For
one
sure.
thing that
Anything
I've,
where you're trying to reduce churn, anything where you're trying to reduce
yep,
churn, distributions are great,
yep,
right? Because you
yep,
can motivate people to
yep,
reduce that directly with it.
exactly. Um, and I've been enjoying the last couple of weeks more your Claude or your Claude. Well, it's not just specifically Claude. I'm using it through Claude,
Mhm.
but you released the MCP server that you call Beacon.
Yep.
Um, and it's very useful for helping you create your programs, your recipes, in addition to um, it has a developers component too. So if I want to ask it questions about the back end, or um, you know, can I can I write some script to hook in some other integration? It'll help me with that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's
I've used
very
it all the time
knowledgeable.
for that too
It's
at
yep,
this point.
yeah, it's very knowledgeable about about Siren's back end and infrastructure. So that's it's very useful.
Yeah.
Um,
What's funny about that is I originally built Beacon because I wanted to, because of what we were talking about earlier about the challenge. Like you look at programs, it
mhm,
can be a little daunting. People felt a little overwhelmed by the amount
mhm,
of stuff that Siren can do. And what I was realizing was they wanted, there was a disconnect, right? People wanted an affiliate program, but what they were being handed was a set of primitives to build their
mhm,
own. And that's really powerful and it's liberating once you get comfortable with it. But there's a learning curve there that I wanted to overcome. And Beacon was a big piece of that. So I was showing
mhm,
you those recipes in the screen share earlier. And those uh, the the beacon can actually create recipes for you as well. You
mhm,
can conversationally tell it, you know, I want to create, here's what I have, here's the idea that I have, here's the incentive program that I want to run, and you just lay it all out, and it will tell you, it will end up suggesting exactly what you need, right? It'll tell you, here's what you need two programs and a program group plus a distributor for that crazy setup you're trying to do or whatever. um, and it might also say Siren doesn't have a way to be able to track this specific piece of it. But if you're using Codex or Cloud Code or something like that, um, it it can absolutely build the piece needed to, you
mhm,
know, the primitives needed to make that work. That's a big part of the equation. And it's been genuinely fun to
mhm,
watch. I've been watching my support messages coming in, and they've switched. So I'm not getting messages from people asking me to how to do things like that. I'm getting messages from people saying, "Okay, so I set up this platform, I did this thing, I talked with Beacon, it gave me this customization, and here's what it's doing, and I just have some questions that I'm not completely sure about." Right. So it's been really fun to just see people like experimenting with it and being able to have the tooling needed to be able to just experiment and create cool stuff.
yep, yep. Um, and one thing I want to say too is, I've been very impressed with Siren Affiliates and Alex's support and standing behind the product. So much so that I became an affiliate for Siren. Um, and so I get to experience Siren as an affiliate through Alex's Siren Affiliates program. Uh, and he's been very generous and has given a coupon code, a discount code for my audience, 20% off your subscription if you use code GURU. So you can visit smartworkflowguru.com/siren, and you can learn more about that and on my site there. And one thing I want to get into as well, I follow you on LinkedIn. You post some good content as a developer. I'm not quite as much of a developer as you are, but I do some amateur development on my own when I need to. um, but one another business I'm involved in that I've launched with some business partners is called Sherlox.AI, and we're building a platform. So a platform SaaS, collaborative work management, document management, project management, and our development team is using AI to help assist and speed up development. And I know you are at some level too.
Oh yeah.
Um, and we also have a MCP server that you can interact with our platform through Claude, and soon other models as well. Um, and I was talking a little bit earlier about how some of our challenges are a little bit different in developing these types of platforms. Um, and I think in some respect, developing a WordPress plugin has a little bit harder in a sense because once that plugin is deployed on someone's WordPress site, um, there are so many more variables that you as a developer cannot control.
Yep.
There's so many more edge cases, conflicts, PHP versions, database versions that you have no control over.
Yep.
Um,
Deployment's
so,
also a one-way road too, right?
yep,
As soon as you deploy and distribute a plugin, it's out there. And now
yep,
you have to deal with it, right? So
yep,
if you're on a SaaS or on a centralized
mhm,
system, if you deploy something and it's broken, you can roll it back and everybody's
yep,
fixed instantly. But
Yep.
because it's copies of the code as a
Yep.
plugin, you're always dealing with that. So it definitely makes the pressing that deploy button just a little bit scarier.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Have
but
you ha- have you leveraged AI for test cases, like running through test cases in your code, or is it
oh yeah,
how's your yeah? Okay.
a ton. So a lot of the testing that I do is obviously I'm doing unit tests. I'm also
Hmm.
running PHP linters and things like that. I actually
Hmm.
built a custom a framework specifically for PHP called PHP Nomad. And I built that because I wanted, since day one, I knew that I wanted to build Siren agnostically. I knew it was going to be in WordPress at day one because that's my bread and butter. That's my hometown. Those are the people I know. Those are the connections I have. It had to start there. But I've never really had a vision of it being the only place where Siren ever exists. So I built this thing called PHP Nomad, which allowed me to write all of my code in a way that it's nomadic, is what I call it. So it's portable. It can be moved from one place to another. So Siren's entire system, the SaaS application, is literally a is the same exact code that the WordPress plugin runs. Like 90% of it is the same, right? The only parts that are different are um, what I call strategies. So I swapped out a few things on how it implements those things. Um, and the interesting side effect of that is that because I did that, the code is also very testable because I can swap out. If I can swap out everything to make it work in WordPress or make it work as a SaaS, then I can also swap it out to make it work in a testing environment very well too. So a lot of effort went into that. So that's what makes Siren so testable. Um, but I write a lot of unit tests. I've got a lot of linting. And then on top of that, I actually do quite a bit of integration tests as well. And AI has been definitely a big, big helper
Hmm.
for making sure that that stuff is written and
Yep.
done
Yep.
quickly.
Yep. Yeah, which I mean, you just mentioned integrations. Siren integrates with, WooCommerce, right? It can,
Yep.
if you're using WooCommerce, that's not a problem. Integrates with Lifter LMS,
Yep.
some other LMSs too out there, I know
DoorDash.
that you
Yep.
integrate. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Um,
Gravity Forms was a new one too. So if you
okay.
want to create lead forms, things like that, that's another option. Yeah, there's quite a few, and that's
Yep.
always growing. I'm always paying attention to my
Mhm.
customers on what they want and what they're looking for, and um, now that with AI out and the way that Siren's built, um, I can usually get those. I can create more integrations without a whole lot of trouble. The biggest trouble
Mhm.
is deciding to do it and making sure that I want to maintain that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that is always the question. But on the topic of integrations, that's actually a lot of Siren. How I'm using Siren is a lot of what I call. So I have a few different types of affiliates. Of course, I have affiliates like you who are customers who are happy with it, who like it, and are have their own channels to be able to potential to promote it through. But then I also have what I call integration partners, which are people
Mm.
like Chris Badgett at Lifter LMS and other those other integrations, right? I'm well networked in WordPress. I've been in it for a while. I know all those people, all the people that work at those places. I've personally met. I've talked to, had numerous conversations with them. I know all of them. So um, I'm always a big proponent of whenever you're trying to create an affiliate program or any kind of incentive program, you kind of have to work with your network at first. So
Mm.
one of the great ways to do it, another one that's really effective is like SEO, where you just
Mhm.
kind of find content that affiliates are writing and say, hey, you want to join my program? But but I network a lot, and because of that, I talk to them. And some of my earliest decisions on where I'm going to go with Siren in terms of integrations was based on those integration partnerships. I'd have conversations with those people and I'd say, hey, Chris at Lifter, for example, you're representing all these course creators that are your customers and all this stuff. I want to create a better solution for, affiliate, for incentive program management. Here's some of the things that I'm envisioning, and here's how I'm looking at this that's completely different, and how I think this could apply to your audience. Um, and then I built the integration, right? I had a conversation with him. We cross promoted some stuff, and that is one example of like how that became something significant, where I was able to jumpstart my audience. I was able to seed my email list. I was able to borrow his microphone, all of those things because I made a point to use something like Siren, and I made a point
Mm,
to also um, leverage my network and think about it. And generally, just what I call roll out the red carpet, where I'm just like, I will do all the things. I will write the content. I will write the code. I will
mm,
build the thing. I will maintain it. I will support it. I will, what are my options? All I ask in return is that you let me borrow your microphone, but here's an affiliate link. Let's do
mm.
business, right?
Yep, yep, definitely. Could you because I'm not familiar with your SaaS offering of Siren, and I don't think you've launched it yet, right?
It's
It's
not
just
it's not
okay,
technically launched yet. No,
okay,
this is
okay.
yeah.
Um, could you tell us a little bit about that? What your vision is for it? Is it to track programs? Um, say if I have a website that's not running WordPress, could I use the SaaS? Is that what the idea is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
And it's not just that, it's also
okay.
multiple websites. So maybe you have that was like, well, the first thing I ran into was I was like, I'm using Siren on every site I have. So now I've got these installs on every WordPress site I have, and they all have different collaborators on them, and some of them are collaborators across multiple sites and stuff like that. So I'm already that's a big piece of it for me, is being able to allow um one entity, one organization to be able to say, here's all of the properties we have, all of our websites we have, all of our collaborators are signed up through the SaaS. All of these programs are for these properties. All of these programs apply to these properties. And you can manage, if you're bigger, really, really big, enterprise level programs and things like that. That's not to say that the SaaS is only for enterprise, right? Of
Hmm.
course, there's also uh, just the benefit of not having this code running on your server. You can run a lighter
Hmm.
server, you can run a smaller server. There's also going to be some things that are going to only work on the SaaS because that's just how it works, right? I can't
Hmm.
support. There's some benefits of being able to have a centralized system that allows me, that I can do uh on, in that context. So
Yeah.
like another example that comes to mind is like webhooks, right? So
Mhm.
you can connect a Stripe webhook directly into Siren, the SaaS version, right? And now you don't necessarily have to have WooCommerce or e-commerce or anything like that. If you decided you wanted to build a site that wasn't on WordPress and you wanted a simpler stack or something like that, you can still do that, and you can connect it into Siren as a SaaS directly and not need, this whole back-end architecture
Hmm. Hmm.
on your front-facing website.
Yeah. And I
It's a
think,
different way to look at things, but
yep,
it's,
yep.
it's there.
Yeah. It's something you mentioned earlier too about if you have a brick and mortar store. So I think there's applications in the physical world where you're generating leads through QR codes or some other method that's more physical. I
Yeah,
think the
for sure.
SaaS would play into that too. So,
That's a great point. I hadn't even considered that, but you're totally right.
yep.
Because a lot of those POS systems that they have, they can actually connect to something like Siren via
Hmm.
webhooks, right? And they can actually track those
Hmm.
things. So like imagine, just imagine that somebody walks in the door, and that creates in Siren what they call an opportunity, right? And like there's so much tracking that can just happen in a physical
Hmm.
environment where you can create these incentive programs that just automatically function at scale. And
Yep.
it gets crazy.
Yep.
How the wide variety of like ways it can solve problems, from founders who just need a simple affiliate
Hmm.
program, and then but it grows with them, right? You can go
Yep.
all the way up to this level and it still functions.
Yep. And then if you have a physical store and then an e-commerce, there's a potential that SaaS could kind of integrate both of those or aggregate both of those opportunities and engagements and conversions all together, which would be very
Yeah,
powerful.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Wow, that's exciting. I'm really definitely gonna keep an eye on that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Because like with our Sherlox.AI business, um, we're building that business through consulting partners too. Um, so I'd like to see how that SaaS version of Siren could leverage through that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
actually. And it's funny because I'm kind of doing something similar a little bit with there's a consulting angle to Siren as well, of course. And I'm not quite there yet, but I've already been thinking there's going to be, affiliate program managers and things like that who could be where I will be leveraging them as that'll be a separate incentive program in my head, right? Like it's
Yeah.
coming. Eventually it'll be a thing. I don't know when and I don't know what shape, but it's definitely one that makes a lot of sense. One of my favorite use cases that I've seen for Siren in recent memory was one of my customers. They make D&D a really really cool D&D table, Dungeons and Dragons table, and it's like a dining room table, and then you can take the dining room table off, and it turns into like this D&D setup. And then you can play the games and do all this stuff. And then whenever you're done, you just kind of put the table back together and it's
Mm.
just a dining table again. It's super sick. It's super cool. So, and he's started to create these um mats, these different like covers that they put on their tables. And one of the things that is doing is artists are creating art for those tables, for those
Mm.
mat, and he's taking those and he's creating products on his site with that art. And he's
Mm.
using a royalty program plus an affiliate program and giving it to those artists. So now what happens is those artists are getting a commission every time that mat is sold. He's getting the benefit of being able to have all these different cool, unique, artistic looking options for his tables to make them more customizable and stand out a little bit more against his competitors. And he's also getting a built-in affiliate program all at the same time, right? So
Mm.
like this is just an example of how, Siren doesn't directly create the e-commerce aspect. It doesn't directly create those things, but it does it gives you a an anchor to be able to kind of tie these really cool ideas and these really amazing ideas that can truly make your business different and differentiate your business from your competitors, um, without necessarily in ways that you just can't otherwise do.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking, you know, the more we talk, the more ideas I have about how I could bring in new services to my business,
Yeah.
my smart workflow guru website, where um, like the course I just released is on using Smartsheet and Power Automate together. So maybe I could have some Power Automate power users create solutions that could be listed on my site, and then do that sort of royalty revenue share type of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's super powerful.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
okay. Well, Alex, I don't know. Let's see. Went pretty well here.
Yeah.
We covered a lot,
Yeah.
um, and I really appreciate talking about Siren and also the just the software development process.
Yep.
Um, is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience before we drop off here about
Uh,
Siren?
yeah, I think the only other big thing is obviously if you ever have any questions or there's anything that they don't understand, or if they have some ideas for an incentive program that they've been trying to do, that they've never been able to quite figure out, by all means you can always go to my site,
Mm,
and you can there's a chat bubble there. You can ask me
mm.
questions directly, or you can use that Beacon API AI to ask some questions and kind of just explore. There's
Good, good.
tons of content, tons of extra information on how to get started and different ways to go about it. Give me a reason to talk to you about this.
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
And does that beacon server, do you need to have the essentials to use it, or do you just need a Siren account, or can anyone just install it on
it's
their?
free. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's publicly available. There's actually so you used it with the you set it up with
Claude.
Claude.
Yep.
Um, so there's actually a GPT. I created it both as an MCP option, but then there's also on the site, if you go to sirenaffiliates.com/integration/MCP server, there's a link to try Beacon GPT, and it literally just opens up Chat GPT and has a custom Chat GPT that
Yeah.
it can do all of the things that MCP can do.
Okay.
Um, and it's probably about 95%. Like it's pretty darn good. It's not quite as good as using Cloud Code or something like that, but just for having conversations and coming up with ideas, and it does a great job. So like if you're looking for a way to spitball some ideas or think about, how you could potentially use that, you can definitely leverage that GPT. It has all of the knowledge on Siren's site, all of my podcast interviews, all of the different recipe capabilities. It knows all about Siren and all that stuff. And I've tested it quite a bit, very intentionally asking it misleading questions just to see if I can mess it up. And most of the time, it's pretty dead on. It matches
Mhm.
exactly what I would say. So I don't put it on my site as the default chat bubble because I don't want. I think that I like the idea of people opting into using an
Mhm.
AI agent like that instead of opting out. So when you go to the chat, that is a human. That does mean that, I sleep. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never
yeah.
know if I'm available or not. But yeah, so that is definitely the big thing that comes to mind for me.
Yep, definitely. Yep, I've used that support chat bubble to ask questions, especially when I was getting started and
Yeah.
saying, okay, can you help me set up this program?
Yeah.
Because I started on Siren. I think the original version I had was a one dot version.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
because I
it's
just
almost
yeah,
unrecognizable in this
yep, it
most
is.
recent
It was a
release.
huge upgrade. I mean,
Yep.
it's going to
Yep.
to three version three is an amazing.
Yep.
Um, all the additional features that's available in the three. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue using Siren, seeing all the new features coming out, and keep an eye on that SaaS. So yeah, if you're interested in, even if you're not interested in Siren affiliates, find Alex on LinkedIn, follow him. You'll get some good commentary on development with AI and other technology commentary there. Yep. So again, thank you, Alex, for joining us. And remind everyone, visit smartworkflowguru.com/siren. And I'll have a link to Siren affiliates there, my affiliate link for Siren, as well as my special exclusive code Guru that'll get you a discount. So thanks again, Alex,
Yeah.
and
Awesome. Thank
we'll
you so
stay in
much.
touch.
Yep. Have a great one. See ya.
All right.